Should you be looking for the cheapest tools out there, or should you be using multiple tools, or should you go for an all-in-one option? Stay tuned as I dive deep into this topic in today's episode. Welcome to the Lou Blakely Show. You're in the right place if you're a service provider who is ready to transition into a more freedom-based business model with digital products. In this podcast, I share with you a unique combination of launch strategy, energetics, and mindset to create true, long-lasting success. It's time to ditch the burnout for good, create the business that you truly want, and share it with the world. Let's get started. Welcome to the Lou Blakely Show. In this episode, I'm going to be talking all about online tools so that you can grow and scale your online business selling digital products. So specifically in this episode, I'm going to be talking about whether it's best to go with multiple different tools and connect them all together, or to go with one all-in-one tool. So if you pop back to, if you haven't listened to episode 22 yet, which is all about what functions or functionality you actually need, then I recommend listening to that episode either before or after this one, but they kind of go together, okay? So today, this is going to be a really honest conversation where I share with you the advantages and pitfalls of each, as I have spent many years working with all of these tools. I've seen so many tech stacks, they're called, which is like what tools people actually use in their business and how they connect together. So I've seen many of those behind the scenes, and they all have their advantages and downfalls. So this episode is not going to steer you towards any one solution, but rather give you the information you need to make the right choice for you. So I'm going to be covering the advantages and downfalls of all-in-one software, the advantages and downfalls of using multiple tools, what extra tools you might need with either option, and what my recommended tool is, plus a backup cheapie option if that's what you need. So let's get started. I'm interrupting this episode quickly to tell you about one of my favorite tools, Kajabi, and the amazing offer that they have running for the month of August. So Kajabi is an all-in-one solution, a one-stop shop, if you will, that has everything you need to successfully sell online courses and other digital products. And right now you can get Kajabi for 3 whole months for only $99. This 3 months will give you the time you need to get everything up and running with this all-in-one system that includes everything you need. So it's like landing pages, funnels, forms, checkout pages, an amazing course portal, website, email marketing tools. It's all here in this one easy-to-use platform. So this 3 months for $99 deal doesn't come around often. They've only run it once before, and it was last year. So if you're looking to get started this year with selling courses and making money online, then I highly recommend jumping on this offer. 3 months with Kajabi at the normal rate is $5.97, but you can get it for $99 only until the end of August. If you're interested and you want to make the most of this offer, get everything up and running so that you can see success with selling online courses towards the end of this year and into next year and into the future, head over to louiseblakely.com/Kajabi99 now to get the deal before it goes. So it ends at the end of August. You spell Kajabi Kajabi. So head over to louiseblakely.com/Kajabi99 now. Now, let's get back to the episode. So let's look at the advantages and downfalls of all-in-one software. So all-in-one software is where you pay one monthly fee and you have a tool that is specifically for courses, and it includes like everything that you need. And I listed in episode 22 all of the things that you do need. So this tool, all-in-one software, will include all of those things. So it's things like landing pages, a place to host your course, email marketing software, and all of that stuff, okay? So there are all-in-one software tools out there. One is Kajabi, which you would have just heard about, Kartra, and Newzenler. I haven't personally used that one. ClickFunnels is another one. Like, there are quite a few out there, and some are better than others for sure. So the advantages of having an all-in-one software ideally is that everything within the tool works together and connects together. So it's designed within one larger ecosystem. So all parts of the tool can speak to each other, which is amazing. So a huge advantage of using an all-in-one software tool. Also, it's one account and one transaction. So less admin, less bookkeeping, less invoices to worry about, like it's one monthly payment or annual, depending on which way you go. So you're not paying for a multitude of different tools every single month, which can become quite hard to manage. Another advantage is that you only need to learn one platform instead of multiple platforms, and then also figuring out how they actually connect together. Because when you go for an all-in-one solution, you know that they actually, all the different moving parts will actually speak to each other. Another advantage is that having an all-in-one software tool will save you time. There's no doubt about it. Less time to learn, less time to actually connect the pieces, less time checking that things aren't broken, that kind of thing. Also, if you don't like technology, you don't like playing around with software, then an all-in-one software, I think, is definitely the way to go for you. It's going to be so much easier for you so that you can get on with the stuff that you actually enjoy. Let's look at the disadvantages of all-in-one software. So I listed a couple of examples of all-in-one software solutions earlier, and just know that none of them are perfect. Some are more perfect than others, but none of them are perfect. So no all-in-one tool will be absolutely amazing and have every single thing that you want. There may be downfalls to all of them. So, for example, their email service provider may not be as great as a tool where the 100% focus is email marketing, for example, and so on. So the thing with an all-in-one tool, it will have all of the things and they'll work seamlessly together, but it may not be the very best version of that tool that you could get on the entire market, if you catch my drift. Another thing that's a bit of a downfall for all-in-one software, or can be, is that all-in-one software is built as a bigger ecosystem, so often the developers for that tool will create less native integrations. So native means that the two developers from like two different software companies have made sure that their tool will integrate naturally with another tool on the market that people commonly use. But when it comes to all-in-one software, the idea is that it's an all-in-one tool, so you won't actually need anything externally, which may mean that there will be less native integrations that you can use with other tools out there. So it's quite hard to explain, but hopefully you get the gist of what I'm talking about. But sometimes you might find that you pay for a tool, you still need another tool to use at some point, and your all-in-one software may not speak natively to that, and you may have to use a third party, which I'm going to talk to you about later on. Another disadvantage, although I'm not really sure if this is a disadvantage, but an all-in-one software tool can seem pricey, but you do really need to weigh up if it's worth it to save you time. As I mentioned in episode 22, like it is a time versus money kind of consideration that needs to take place, and your time is so much more valuable. So sometimes it can seem pricier to pay for an all-in-one software, but it will actually save you so much money because you're saving your time. So let's look at the advantages and downfalls of using multiple tools. So there are definitely some advantages. You get to pick your favorite tools, or like the best in class for what they focus on. So as I said before, a company that focuses purely on creating amazing email marketing software is probably going to create a better quality product than an all-in-one tool where they're developing the bigger ecosystem, where they're actually building the whole picture and focusing more on that and less on the ability of every single function within the tool. Whereas with multiple tools, where you're using multiple tools and connecting them together, you could get higher quality products that have more functionality. Another great thing with when you're using multiple tools is that they are more likely to integrate with other tools because there'll be a standalone product. So, for example, I use Drip as my email service provider, I absolutely rate Drip. I have used so many email marketing service providers, and Drip to me is the best one out there. It's my favorite one. I absolutely love it. I hardly hear anyone talking about it, which blows my mind. Their marketing is not very good and they're more focused on e-commerce, but I actually used it before they moved to e-commerce, and literally it's just the same tool as it was before they moved from like bloggers to e-commerce. It actually used to be really popular with bloggers, and then they kind of changed niche, but they didn't change their product. And yeah, it's really nice to use. It's really intuitive. And the other advantage, like I would consider Drip a best-in-class tool. You know how I was talking about before, like all-in-one software may not have the most amazing individual tools. So Drip, in comparison, all they do is email marketing. So they have been able to create an amazing tool with so much functionality. Like you can literally do everything. And another advantage of that, as an example, Drip, as an example, has built integrations with everything. Like it integrates natively with so many things. I'm actually yet to find something that it doesn't integrate with, which is awesome because it makes my life so much easier. So there's a high likelihood that the standalone tools that you'll use will actually integrate with a lot of the other tools that you need for different things in your business. So, you know, a landing page provider that just does landing pages is more likely to integrate nicely with a whole bunch of different email service providers because they kind of need to be offering that as part of the product offering. Otherwise, people aren't going to be signing up for it. So that is one definite advantage of using multiple tools. Now, the other advantage of going down this road where you're using multiple tools and connecting them all together is that you can opt for much lower cost tools if budget is a huge consideration for you and it's really important. And maybe it's for whatever reason, we all have different circumstances. Maybe that is more important to you than time spent. So let's look at the downfalls of using multiple tools. And yeah, there are quite a few here. So sometimes your favorite tools don't integrate with each other. Like maybe you really have your eyes set on using this one tool and you want something else for something else, like email marketing or whatever, and they don't integrate with each other at all, which can become a huge bottleneck for a growing business, especially if you realize that later on. And you then have to go and like create a connection or whatnot. The other disadvantage is that you're going to need to learn multiple tools, which is going to take your time away from doing what you need to do to make money. We don't want to be getting stuck in learning tools all of the time. Like that is where an all-in-one really is a good option. Another disadvantage is that sometimes the integrations may not work or they may become unhooked and you don't know, so they kind of break. Like you set up the integration for a certain action in one software and then it kind of speaks to the other software, which then forces that software to create an action. So sometimes that can break. So meaning things can be broken without your knowledge, and maybe people are clicking on things and they're signing up for something and they're never getting it sent to them, like the follow-up emails never arriving, that kind of thing. So when you have multiple tools, this is more likely to break like the connection between the two. Therefore, you're going to need to be checking things as much as possible, really. And then these things are also going to take time to fix and get working again. So another advantage is that although you can do this on a budget, like use multiple tools, often it can end up being even more expensive than an all-in-one tool. And usually if you're going with multiple tools, it's likely to be because it's supposedly cheaper, but once you actually add them all together, they can add up and become quite expensive, especially when you add in your time spent connecting them all, checking that things aren't broken, that kind of thing. Another disadvantage is that there's more admin involved, so there's more invoices, more payments, more bookkeeping, more keeping track of what you're actually using, and the risk of paying for something that you're not really using or don't need. So you need to keep on top of all of that stuff. It's all business expenses. It's all someone's time, right? So there is a lot more admin going on when you're using multiple tools in your business. Let's dive into what extra tools you might need with both options. So the reality is that you're going to need a few more things in your business, even if you use an all-in-one software. So sometimes you might need these tools to connect with your course software, for example, or your other platforms if you're using multiple different things. And they're not always going to speak to each other automatically. So before I talked about the native integrations, so native integrations are great. It's what we want. It's what we want to look for, but they're not always available, but sometimes we still need to use a tool for whatever reason. So I've got some examples for you. One of the things that some of my clients have done, and I've also done it, I've created a quiz. I've used a tool called Interact for that. And while it speaks natively to Drip, as I said, Drip integrates with a lot of different things. It doesn't integrate with Kajabi. So if you're using Interact for your quiz and Kajabi for all of your course stuff, then you would actually need a third party to connect the two. They're not going to speak to each other automatically. They don't have that native connection. Another example is maybe you're looking at moving to running evergreen offers. So you've always got a campaign set up and running, and people can actually go through your funnel and buy your course anytime. And you want to create some kind of urgency with that process so that they have to buy within a certain time frame, then you will need to use a tool like Deadline Funnel. Now, again, this would connect directly to Drip, but I don't think it would connect to Kajabi. So you just have to be aware that sometimes you're going to need extra things in your business. Another example is accounting software like Xero. That's not going to integrate natively with your all-in-one software tool or any of your individual tools. So you're actually going to need to use a third party to connect them, which is more complexity and it adds another cost to your business. But as you grow, there may be tools that you can add on, such as these, that are going to make you more money or save you time, but they don't integrate directly. Now, this is probably more the case, as I heard one of the downfalls of all-in-one software is that they have less native integrations. So while they're all-in-one, they don't do absolutely everything you'll ever need, and sometimes you will, as you grow, need more software that do a specific thing that you want to achieve in your business. So regardless of what tool you're using, it's likely that you're going to face this scenario. A tool that is commonly used to connect any two tools together, where there is not already an existing integration, is a software called Zapier. So this tool has almost endless options of creating an action in one piece of software where something occurs, which then creates a zap, sends that zap across that then tells the other tool to take a particular action of your choosing. So it acts like a bridge between the two when there is no native integration, and it allows two tools to speak to each other and to achieve and automate what you want to get done. So in my opinion, while Zapier exists and it's very handy, you do still want to avoid this as much as possible because it adds complexity, it can add extra cost. So this is why it's imperative to either go for an all-in-one tool or make sure, if you are using multiple tools, you need to make sure that there are native integrations as much as possible. It's not always going to be achievable as your business grows, but definitely to get started, you want to be aiming for native integrations and not be spending money on Zapier, because every time you send a zap, it can cost you money. There are free zaps in there, but not all of them are free. So, and also, let's keep things as simple as possible, right? I believe that one of the things that can really stop us from seeing success in our businesses is actually making things way more complicated than they need to be. So we're always going for simplicity. But I just wanted to make you aware that whether you go for all-in-one or multiple tools, it could be quite likely at some stage that you'll need to hook something up that does not natively integrate with either option, and you may need to add the other tool in, Zapier, to actually achieve what you want. There are alternatives to Zapier as well, but that's the main one. It's the most well-known one. So, sometimes we just have to do it because automation really is going to save you a lot of time and allow you to achieve things. It could actually it could create a zap that means that you don't manually have to do something, which is kind of a no-brainer, right? Especially if it's something that you're doing repeatedly. But I just wanted to share this with you because I don't want you to think that because you've chosen an all-in-one tool that it's going to do absolutely everything you need in your business and that you'll never need anything else. It's definitely not the case. And yeah, I just really want you to be aware of that right from the start. So what is my recommended tool? So I'm going to share that with you now. And then also a backup cheapie option, which I still think is really good and something that I've personally used myself. Clients have used it, that kind of thing. So you probably get the gist by now that I really rate Kajabi. I think it's a really good tool. It is so well built. It's very intuitive. It's very easy to use. It has all the tools you need. So if you're starting out and you're currently using nothing, but you know that you want to start turning, what you know into online courses and making money from them, then it makes real sense to get up and running fast. And in Kajabi, everything is there in one package. You can even build your website on Kajabi. You can do everything that you need in the early stages. So in my opinion, they have the best course platform there is, like course portal. It's so easy to use. It's easy to follow for your students. It has all the functions you need. It's actually really easy for you to use as well, to upload all the material. And it has this really cool function of automations, which means that you can get, when people do a particular thing, they take a certain action in the course, then it will trigger an automation where they might get an email or something like that. So there's lots of things that you can do with Kajabi that you couldn't potentially do with multiple tools, or it could become really complex. So, yeah, I just love it. So right now there's an amazing offer on Kajabi where you can get it for 3 months for only $99. So for 3 months of Kajabi, it would usually cost you $597. But right now they have an offer, and it only goes to the end of August, where you can actually get Kajabi for only $99 for 3 months, which gives you plenty of time to get all set up and actually earning money in that time. So jump on that deal. It only goes for a few more days. I definitely recommend hopping over and grabbing it before it goes, because it probably won't come back this year. So if you're interested in that, head over to louiseblakely.com/Kajabi99 and sign up. So it's an upfront payment of $99, and then you have Kajabi for 3 months, and the goal is to really get up and running in that time and making money for you. So Kajabi is spelled Kajaby. So just head over to louiseblakely.com/Kajabi99. So if Kajabi is out of reach for you in terms of budget, then I have another option for you, which I wanted to cover. So this is like the cheapie option if it is too much of a stretch. So I have used this, as I said, I've used these tools all myself. Clients have used them, and yeah, it's a really good setup. So that is Thrivecart. You may have heard of Thrivecart. So you use Thrivecart for checkout pages, and it also now hosts your course, which is a feature they only actually introduced last year in 2021. So it's not an all-in-one tool at all. You will still need somewhere to host your videos, like Vimeo. I recommended that in the episode last week. You'll still need an email service provider. You've probably guessed I recommend Drip, which I spoke about before, and you'll still need a landing page builder. So I would put the Thrivecart option in the multiple tools category, because you still need these other things to be able to actually sell online courses. But Thrivecart is really good. So if you're using Thrivecart and you're wanting to keep costs low, then for landing pages, I also recommend using Lead Pages. Again, something I've used quite a lot and something my clients use successfully as well. So this is what I would call a tech stack, where you've stacked different tools and they all speak to each other to achieve what you need to achieve in your business. So Thrivecart for checkouts and hosting your course. The cost of these, so I'm just going to run through the cost of what this tech stack would cost you. So Thrivecart for checkouts and hosting your course, you actually pay a one-off fee, and then you've got it to use forever. So this is a real difference between Thrivecart and a lot of other options. There is no monthly fee, which is awesome. So you buy it once and then you just get to use it over and over again. So the cost of that is $495 USD upfront, or if you go for the Pro option, which does have a few advantages, not necessary for everyone, it's like $690-ish USD. So it's quite a big investment up front. But then there's no monthly ongoing fee, no annual fee, nothing. Like you literally have it I think I bought it, Thrivecart, like about 6 years ago, and I've been using it on and off all of that time. So I've definitely got my money's worth, and it's just so nice to not always have monthly fees, right? So back to the tech stack, Thrivecart, and then Drip for your email marketing. Highly recommend this tool. It's $29 USD a month, the lowest plan. It really depends on how many people are on your email list. Then I recommend Lead Pages for your landing pages, which are your registration pages for all of your events like webinars, challenges, that kind of thing, plus your sales pages. Now, all of these tools speak to each other natively without needing Zapier, which is amazing. So let's look at the cost. So Lead Pages, I didn't mention this before, but it's $37 USD a month or $74 USD a month if you go pro for the pro version. I don't think most people won't actually need the pro version, so you can pretty much bank on using the standard version for $37 USD. So if we add all this together, we've got Thrivecart, which is the one-off fee. Then we've got Drip, which is at the minimum $29 USD a month. Then Lead Pages, let's say that's $37 a month. So you can see that while this is a really good option, once you actually add in the different tools that you actually need, you're actually getting pretty close to the price of the lowest plan of Kajabi anyway, which is $99 USD a month. So it's definitely food for thought. Is it worth saving around $30 a month and still have to string multiple different tools together? So it's definitely something to consider. So I hope this episode helped you figure out the right software for you. I've put links to all the software I've mentioned in this episode today into the show notes, which you can find at louiseblakely.com/23. Yeah, so I just wanted to be really present which one is better for you. There is no right or wrong. It is really about finding the right option for you. So thanks for listening. I really hope it answered your questions or any questions you had. Maybe you're considering moving into this type of business and you're wondering what tools you need, because you do need more tools than other business models. Like, say you're running an agency or something like that, or freelancing, you don't necessarily need any of this stuff. So you do need more tools than other business models, but the idea is that your margin is going to be incredibly high. So yeah, I hope this helped you realize what you need, and that sometimes using the cheaper tools isn't actually going to benefit you that much in the long run, because there are kind of opportunity costs of going down that road, and sometimes you're just better off going for the one that seems a little bit more expensive but is actually a better investment and is going to save you a lot more time. So I hope you enjoyed that. Now, if you know of anyone who is looking to turn their knowledge into an income stream by creating an online course, then please share this episode with them. Honestly, creating this content takes a lot of work, and I'd really like to spread it far and wide, as I believe this can help more people achieve their goals of financial and time freedom. See you in the next episode. Thanks, course creators and go-getters. You're incredible, and I hope you enjoyed today's episode. If you haven't done so already, make sure you hit subscribe in your podcast app so you don't miss an episode. If you'd like to find out more about what I offer, head across to loublakely.com. See you next time.